I would like to now call on someone who you may know her name if you watched the 2012 Olympics in London. You may know her as, what seat were you in the women's eights? You were number 2. So she was the second one, clearly working hard. She was tugging that boat, and she tugged that boat to a silver medal in women's eights in rowing in London, England. Ladies and gentlemen, Rachelle Viinberg.
Hi, everyone.
So can you tell, I mean, I've always wondered this question. So there's 8 of you in the boat. Can you tell when other people are having a good day or a bad day? Like, is there any way of knowing?
Well, first of all, there's 9 of us in the boat.
Okay, sorry,
We have the little coxswain that steers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So outside of the person that steers, which I imagine is pretty important, the 8 rowers, can you tell if someone's having a good day or a bad day?
Yeah, actually you can. We're all in sync on a good day, and if somebody's out of sync or if their power curve isn't quite good, and what I mean about a power curve is that in training we can have LCD screens on our rigger, and we can see our power output, and we can tell when someone's off, and you can feel it too.
Really?
Yeah.
So you can feel in the boat like sort of unbalanced.
Yeah, that too. And
so you had to go through the same sort of thing as Sam went through, right? You've retired from rowing. You were in 3 Olympics, right?
I was.
And so, I mean, that's a big part of your life, and there's a big adrenaline rush that comes from that.
Thank you.
So how did you replace that kind of excitement, that kind of intensity, that kind of focus in your life?
That's a really, really good question, because I know a lot of retired athletes go through a depression because that's such a big part of your life. That's your identity. And then transitioning to a new identity can be really difficult. For me, I was fortunate. I had my schooling all in order. I was a licensed naturopath, and I went right into my profession. However, it was still very difficult to find myself, and it took me about 4 years until today, really.
Really?
Yeah.
Until today?
Until today.
You know what? Woodstock is like this magic fountain of inspiration. Seriously, you come here and your life changes. I would have come here a long time ago if I knew that. So you have some things that you'd like to say to these folks, right?
I do, yes.
Okay.
All right. So we have 2 microphones. Is it going to have feedback?
You know what? Let's find out.
I can use this. All right, so first of all, I can only imagine what you guys have gone through as a community, and I really just want to share with you something about my adversity and perseverance through my sporting experience. It wasn't easy for me growing up, first of all. I was super tall. I was 6 feet tall at like 14, and I was teased. I had acne. My parents, they didn't make a lot of money, and I'd go to school in my brother's hand-me-downs, and I was pretty bullied, and I felt pretty low. I didn't have many friends, and I can honestly say that sport saved me. When I joined rowing, what I was ashamed of, my height, actually became an asset. And I went from being the best in the city to the best in the province to one of the best in Canada, and eventually one of the best in the world. Yeah. But this process wasn't easy either. My first Olympics was way back in 2004 in Greece, and I had an injury. I had herniated my disc. Has anybody hurt their back and herniated their disc before? Anyone? It's super painful. So I actually went to the Olympics as an injured spare. The beaches were fabulous. And to let you know a little something about rowing is that it takes 18 training sessions per week to be competitive. So I did 4 years of 18 training sessions a week. And I really wasn't happy with where I was at that Olympics. So I committed to another 4 years, which brought me to the 2008 Olympics in Beijing. We were going to do pretty well. We were a favorite to win a medal. But unfortunately, we had an injury in the boat. One of our teammates, she had broken her ribs. And yes, you can break your rib rowing. You're pulling so hard that your muscle is pulling on your bone, and it causes a fracture. So we didn't do as well as we would have liked. We didn't even make the final. As a silver lining, though, my husband proposed on the Great Wall of China. But so I committed to another 18 practice sessions per week for 4 years. And that brought me to the 2012 Olympics, which is perhaps the most difficult of all. I was in a car accident and I had a pretty severe concussion. I had another herniated disc, the same one from 2004 that took me out for a year. And then after that, I also broke a rib, much like my teammate in 2008. And on top of that, I was suffering from quite a bit of grief. My grandmother passed away, my uncle passed away, my father passed away, and then my mother was diagnosed with a late-stage cancer. So I had a lot on my plate. But my mother, she's super powerful and a strong woman, and we had a pact. I would do everything possible to win that Olympic medal, and she would be in the stands to watch me. And during... So for that race, I did everything possible to heal my body through nutrition. I took out sugar, I took out alcohol, I even took out my beloved coffee. I was in rehab every day, and I recovered. The doctors were pretty amazed. And so I made the team. I made the 2012 Olympic boat, and during the race, I don't know if you've experienced lactic acid before, but this was the most painful race of my life. My eyeballs were going to pop out of my head. I felt like I was going to faint. Every fiber in your body is screaming to stop. But of course I didn't. And this happened. Yeah. And of course my mother was in the stands to watch me. Yeah. In full remission. And my late father, he had the best seat in the house. So my point here is to have a pact with somebody, to communicate. We all go through our trials and tribulations, but there's no way, no reason we should suffer alone. And it could be a parent, it could be a friend, or a counselor, anyone, to just work on it with someone else. And trust me, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Okay.
Thank you so much. And thank you also for, you should probably, so you can say no problem. I'll tell you what to say. No problem, Michael. I love being here in Woodstock. So I'm just going to say it, and then you say that back to me, okay? Thank you for coming, because I know it meant a lot to these people that you came out.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael, and thank you, Woodstock.
Thank you.